Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise for the singing of the national anthem by Elise Rose Schulman, one of our, yes indeed, one of our graduating students this year.
It's going to fall off anyway. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
That was beautiful. That was wonderful. She could have a career as a professional singer, I believe. But environmental science is so much more rewarding. Ladies and gentlemen, faculty, students, and guests and friends, welcome to the second commencement ceremony of UCLA's Institute of the Environment and Sustainability, and the presentation of our newest cohort of graduates as environmental scientists. I've been asked to make a few comments on the founding of the Institute of the Environment and Sustainability, originally called simply the Institute of the Environment. Since I was the first director, the process of formation began as a concept in the minds of faculty nearly 20 years ago. And here we are, we have now our second graduating class in our major. At the time, the idea of an interdisciplinary environmental institute sitting as an independent academic unit on this campus was considered to be a rather radical concept. So, when a group of environmentally concerned faculty proposed such an institute, it was naturally resisted by some elements of the university community. Then, as now, budgets were shrinking. We were in the midst of another recession. The long-established programs on campus were being disbanded. More significantly, many argued that a career in environmental science made no sense, that students trained across multidisciplinary boundaries would not find a professional home. However, others countered that the only way we could solve threatening environmental problems, widespread air and water pollution, decreasing biodiversity, and global climate change, to name just a few, was through interdisciplinary training and collaboration. Visionary administrators and faculty, and to no small extent, students at the time expressing their interest in environmental science, pushed forward, and the Institute was ultimately established in 1997. I am happy to report to you today that the Institute's environmental science program and its graduates are now taking their places at the front lines in the battle to save planet Earth. It was not always certain, however, that the campus would actually have a strong, independent environmental institute. Strangely enough, a major turning point establishing the Institute occurred because, of all things, a bagel. So let me explain a bit. In the mid-1990s, a group of faculty, including myself, had been working with the UCLA administration to gain the resources and authority to build a new multidisciplinary environmental research and teaching unit. There was considerable resistance to this idea, as I noted earlier. And so we had not been able to muster the critical mass of support that was needed to launch the enterprise. A key meeting was arranged with several top administrators, and we were invited to Murphy Hall, our main administration building on the campus, which is sometimes called the Big House, to present our vision for this new institute. The meeting was held in the opulent Chancellor's Conference Room, which we didn't often get a chance to visit, and refreshments were ordered, including some plump and aromatic bagels. I was presenting a slideshow describing what we referred to as the Los Angeles Watershed Project, which was a highly interdisciplinary study of water resources in the Los Angeles Basin. The Watershed Project served as an example of the kind of complex, socially relevant, environmental research that we felt could be organized at UCLA, and that, indeed, would allow UCLA to take a lead in such work. The door to the conference room was open, and at one point, unexpectedly, the Chancellor at the time, Charles Chuck Young, strolled by. Up to that time, he had not been directly involved in the planning for our institute, but Chuck caught a glimpse of the bagels. He moved in quietly onto the deli spread, and he lathered up a big, fat bagel with cream cheese. And as he turned to tiptoe quietly out with his prize, our discussion caught his attention. Chuck pulled up a chair, sat down, with his bagel, of course, enjoying it, and listened to the presentation. Then, at the end of the presentation, to our amazement and delight, the chancellor rose to his feet and said in no uncertain terms, "Let's do this." That was the moment that propelled the plan for the Institute forward, and the rest is history. There's an important lesson to be learned here, as you probably have already reading my mind about. Never underestimate the power of a bagel. There you go. Yes, I agree completely. Today, after many subsequent years of planning and development, we are joyfully honoring the second graduating class of the Institute's environmental science major. These are new troops moving out to the frontiers of science in the struggle to save the environment for future generations. And I think we should applaud all of these new environmental scientists. Having spent a few moments in the past, let's move back to the business at hand. It's now my great pleasure to introduce today's keynote speaker, Cecilia Estolano. Cecilia is a graduate of UC's Berkeley Bolt Hall School of Law and also holds a Master of Arts degree from the UCLA Department of Urban Planning, where she has taught in the past. Currently, Cecilia is the Theodore B. and Doris Shung Lee Chair in Real Estate Law and Urban Planning at the School of Law and the College of Environmental Design at Berkeley. And believe me, that is a lungful. Cecilia has provided service to many governmental agencies and advisory bodies over the years. Notably, she participated in President Obama's Presidential Transition Team's group on energy and environment. She has also served on the California Coastal Commission, as a senior policy advisor to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, and as CEO of the Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Los Angeles, the largest such organization in the state. More recently, Cecilia has been active in the organization Green for All, which advocates nationally for broad access of local communities to the emerging clean energy economy of the future. Ladies and gentlemen, please give Cecilia a warm hand. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a great honor to be here at your second graduation. I graduated from planning school 20 years ago. I just realized, I just counted up the years and it made me gasp, actually. So to the parents and the students and the faculty members, to the esteemed class of 2011, I'd like you all to take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Exhale. It's all going to be okay. It's all going to be okay. You are going to get a job. You are going to go to graduate school. Or you're going to go to graduate school until the job comes. Sorry, parents. And you're going to fall in love, and you're going to find yourself, and you're going to change the world. It will happen. We just have to get through this commencement first, okay? I wanted to start with that deep breath because that's what you have to do when you head into a time of anxiety and uncertainty. You have to calm yourself, and you have to find your center as you lean into the storm, right? And you are stepping into a storm, class of 2011. You are. The economy is recovering, no doubt, but very, very slowly. Nearly 14 million people are unemployed, and deep structural income inequality is keeping us from roaring back like we have from other recessions. We're still in gridlock in the state budget. You could probably say that every year for the last 10 years, you know, but we're still in gridlock in the state budget. And the Congress is playing this giant game of chicken over the federal debt ceiling and deficit reduction. We're still fighting two wars. Sea level keeps rising, and home prices keep falling. The Arab Spring has turned to violent stalemate. We're still not sure if those nuclear reactors in Japan are under control. The Lakers didn't make the finals, Laker person over here. And the Dodgers can barely make payroll. And I'm telling you that everything is going to be okay. How do I know this? I know this because I know some things about you, class of 2011. And I know some things about this moment in history. And I'm betting that you, betting hard, because I have kids, I'm betting you have what it takes to put us on the right course. So first, let's talk about you. You're going to get a job, or you're going to go to graduate school, because you are graduating from a world-class institution with a degree that is actually marketable. I am not speaking at the commencement address for a bunch of English majors, okay? Or for that matter, a bunch of architects either. You have a much coveted degree in STEM education. Everybody hears about this, right? Science, technology, engineering, and math. And this literally marks you for success in this country. In this country, where some people are projecting that there may be between 12 and 24 million vacant STEM jobs by 2020. Write that number down, parents. That's a good prognostication for these students, right? So all these chatters these days about whether a college education is really worth the cost, is it worth the cost, is it worth that stuff simply doesn't apply to you. You have a degree from UCLA, so even though tuition is rising, it's still a bargain, okay? And you have it in a great program that actually taught you all the right things in a job market that needs the skills you're entering with. So take that deep breath, you parents in particular, and relax, because this part, the job part, the graduate school part, it is going to be okay. Really, it is. It's going to be okay. So here's some reasons why I'm pretty confident about this. First of all, your studies have helped you to appreciate the interconnectedness of complex systems. All that coursework across 6 different environmental science areas has given you an understanding of how simple individual actions in one area, like deciding to buy a car, use it every day to get around town instead of walking or biking or taking transit, like something like that, how that can add up to significant environmental issues in a variety of areas, like air pollution, climate change, traffic congestion, sprawl, public health, non-point source pollution, the health of oceans, etc. Fill in the blank. You've had to cross disciplines to get this diploma, and you've had to go deep in one particular area too. And that is actually a lot like what it is to work today, okay? We're increasingly being asked to look across different issue areas to find solutions. At the same time, we're expected to know something very, very deeply, have mastery of something. This is a tall order, particularly for crunchy people like myself in their 40s, okay? So say you wanted to make sure that Southern California has enough water for the next 50 years. You need to hire more than an engineer. You need to hire people who understand that it's more than just about engineering a fix to the Sacramento Delta. You'd want to hire folks who start with a much bigger picture about watersheds and ecosystems and environmental management. It would be far more valuable to you if you were Jeff Keitlinger, who heads up the Metropolitan Water District, to hire someone who understands the big picture and can then learn the focus tasks at hand than to hire someone with a narrow skill set and then try to teach that person to open up their eyes and mind. You need someone smart who can learn and grow and move around to different jobs because you know that the solutions will change over time and that the most important thing is to prepare for multiple possibilities and multiple strategies. And your degree in environmental science has prepared you to be this type of versatile, flexible employee and manager, and ultimately leader. So you have good prospects for employment in a tough economy and really great prospects for graduate school because of the quality of your degree. Okay, so you've got that part covered, but what about the rest of it? What about all those bad unemployment numbers I was mentioning, the growing income inequality, budget gridlock, instability in the Middle East, the war we're still fighting? What about climate change, for goodness sakes? Okay, let's take another deep breath. Yeah, wow. Okay, so the reality is I don't know that it is all going to be okay, but I have a lot of optimism about it. I have a lot of optimism that we're going to find a better way forward because of where we are in history and because of who you are. Let's talk about the moment we're in. We're at this pivotal moment when the basic feedstock of our society is being contested. Right now, we are in the transition from a petroleum-based economy to a clean energy economy. And this transition has implications for nearly every production process, the shape of our cities, the design of our buildings, our health, and the health of our planet. And it is happening at the precise moment when a global economic crisis has shaken this nation's beliefs to its core. This creates the rarest of all moments when we have an opening to transform the structure of the economy along with its energy basis. These moments come very rarely in the historical trajectory, and we're in one right now, and you're graduating with the skills to take us in the right direction. This is a scary time for our country because we seem to have lost faith in our ability to fix the most basic things. Our infrastructure is crumbling and the political system is broken down. We can't seem to do big things anymore, like build a high-speed rail system. The American dream of home ownership has been dashed against the rocks of irresponsible financial system. You know, Wall Street got all the upside while the American taxpayer is going to be paying the price for all of their risky investments for a long time. And we can't even pass a budget. Do I keep mentioning the budget? It's important. You're sitting in the University of California. You benefited from an investment from many, many generations, as did I, as did my parents, as did my siblings, and I hope to goodness that my kids will enjoy it as well. But that basic investment, that basic infrastructure has been starved for so long that there's a possibility that the University of California could be hit with $1 billion in budget cuts. This matters, graduates, especially those of you who are going to get jobs. This matters a lot. Well, those of you who can vote, which is everybody, it matters a lot. Because this is the keystone of this state's success. And you are a beneficiary, and you have an obligation to protect this institution. Don't forget it, especially if you get into the legislature. They've all forgotten it. Okay, sorry. I can proselytize about the University of California. I'm here. Okay, well, can't even pass a budget, and now some folks in Congress are saying that maybe it wouldn't be so bad if the U.S. defaulted on its debt so long as they can get into the next election. It's just sort of this big game of chicken. So why am I so optimistic right now? I'll tell you why. I have a lot of faith in your ability to help this country seize this moment. It's kind of about the qualities that you have generationally and also the qualities you have based on the fact that you've been in this program. So first of all, you care about the quality of our life and you think you can help to make it better. By definition, you opted for a degree in environmental science because you understand there are big challenges in our world that you actually want to help solve. Why else get a degree that requires you to work on a project in the real world before you can graduate, right? You actually want to get your hands dirty before you even turn that tassel. The fact that you care and that you believe that you can make things better is a really big deal. You guys have probably heard lots of polling and survey data about your graduation, right? This millennial generation. People say you're slackers. People say really bad things about you, but they also say really great things about you. This is the part that I dwell on. Your generation is more civically active. You vote in higher participation rates, and you have higher rates of volunteerism than folks that came before you. We were the Generation X slackers. You guys actually care and are actually doing something about it. So that gives me great hope. The second thing about you is that you all know how to work as a team. This is a big deal. The practicum you did in your last year taught you about collaboration and teamwork. And as a generation, polling shows you are also way more inclined to work together as a team and learn from each other. And in a world of increasing complexity and interconnectedness, your ability to work well in a team, to draw and build on the strengths of others, will be critical to your success. Third really amazing thing about you, you have astonishing recombinant skills, and I'm not just talking about that DNA stuff, right? I am talking about your amazing ability to find, process, analyze, recombine diverse streams of information from lots of diverse sources to produce new ideas and concepts. Don't underestimate the value of taking in all of those data points, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn. Just don't laugh. This matters. You can process more different information than I ever could. And this matters now because the velocity of change is increasing, and that's something that you're going to have to deal with. You'll need each other, and you'll need to be as smart and as good at recombining things as you are. And finally, I have a lot of optimism because you're also a generation that is restlessly, endlessly, continuously seeking social connection. I am heartened that I don't see anybody actually right now tweeting. This is great. It means I got your attention. But you could be, right? You probably were at the big graduation, right? So all that social networking combined with all those recombinant skills is important. You're going to need to quickly access and analyze vast quantities of information, see the unseen connections, and build unlikely coalitions if we have any hope of solving the major environmental, economic, and social problems at hand. So you've got all these great things going for you, even as you enter a scary point in time. But it's not a foregone conclusion that it's all going to be okay. It's not, okay? This is the point in the graduation speech where I give you weighty advice from my vast experience in life, okay? So here it goes. These are 3 things that I want you to take away from your experience here today. Number 1, drink. A lot. Every day. Water. Okay? It's good for your skin. It's good for your hair. It'll help keep the weight down. Drink it out of things that are recyclable. Don't use those water bottles. You know what I'm talking about. Don't add to the landfill problems. Don't go buy bottled water. Trust in your public water system. Reinvest in your public water system. This is really just a metaphor. What I really mean to say is drink deeply every day of the stuff that replenishes you. Every day, drink deeply. Drink what replenishes your soul and your mind, because so much that you're going to go through life is going to try to poison you. It's going to poison you against each other. It's going to poison you against your belief in your ability to change the world. Go back to what replenishes you. Drink a good, big glass of water, okay? And do it every day. Remember to replenish. 2, embrace beauty. I mean, every day. Enjoy beauty. Find beauty, or at least every week. Sometimes you live in places that really aren't beautiful. Sometimes Los Angeles feels that. But you can find the beauty every day. Stop what you're doing for a minute. Watch the sunset. Look at the mountain. Look at the bird fluff its little feathers, right? Listen to profoundly moving music. The point of all this, or look at a great piece of art, or look at sculpture. The point of all this is to stop. Stop for a second and find something that makes you stop, that makes you connect to it, and this profoundly human experience of beauty that calms you and brings you joy and gives you hope and connects you to other humans and connects you to nature. This is important. You're environmental science majors. You can find beauty everywhere. You may not always live near the Pacific Ocean, but you'll probably live near some body of water. Remember what that beauty feels like. You may not always live near mountains, but remember what it feels like to hike. Remember beauty, even if it's just man-made. Because if you touch it and you feel it and you reconnect with it once a day or once a week, and you really feel it and stop, you're going to feel a lot more motivated to protect it and conserve it. It's not just about reading about it, it's about experiencing it. And the third big, grand piece of advice that I have to give you is feel. I mean, feel empathy. Live in empathy. You, I think, will be just fine in your career. I'm pretty sure you're going to be okay. I really mean that. You might have a couple of rough patches in the next couple of years, but you really are going to be okay. You have an amazing education. You're going to be among the elite of the well-educated in important fields, and you're going to be much in demand. You may design significant energy or water systems, or you're going to restore important habitat. You're going to come up with some brilliant green chemistry compound that detoxifies whole communities. All of that's going to happen, right? But the impact you have will be limited unless you feel empathy. Unless in the act of creation and design, You think about others. You think about others that aren't going to get to sit in this room with you, that have no hope of getting this degree. I spent part of last week in Chicago, learning about folks who are very different than you. A couple of names came, these twin sisters, Lakeisha and Lanisha Bowles. They are high school juniors at a place called the Austin Polytechnic Academy in the Chicago public school system. It's one of the worst parts of Chicago. And basically, they are very proud because as juniors in high school, they have 2 certifications from the National Institute for Metalworking Skills. One is setting up computer numerically controlled machines, and the other is in materials measurement and safety. And they hope that by the time they graduate a year from now, they're going to have a 3rd or a 4th or a 5th certification. Why do you care about this? I'll tell you why you care about this. Why are these kids working so hard? And they're in a community that has been deindustrialized where the unemployment rate is 35%. And really their only hope of getting out of that kind of economic depression is to get a good job, something that's not retail. It would be great if they could all go to college. They're probably not going to all go to college. But one way they could get out is have real skills in advanced manufacturing. And that's what they're banking on. So they're trying to, in a sense, rebuild their communities by rebuilding advanced manufacturing in this country. And advanced manufacturing needs them. In fact, in that area of greater Chicago metropolitan area, they don't have enough graduates. They don't have enough skilled metal workers to continue to grow, to make wind turbine parts. They don't have enough skilled folks to make advanced batteries. There are many, many industries that could grow, but they don't have enough skilled workers. Okay, you guys are shifting in your sheets because you don't see the connection. I'm going to make it for you. All of those wonderful things that you're going to draw and design and learn and invent, you need the Bowles sisters to help you make them. Because if they help you make them here in this country, then more people will have more money and more people will be in the middle class and more people can invest in preserving in our environment and more people can protect what we have and make it better for others. You need them. They need you. They need you to invest and to invent and to engineer and design and to think about the impact of what you're doing beyond just the single task you're given at hand. They need you to connect across 2,000 miles. They need you to feel empathy for them, and you need them to understand that there's a future in this country. Because if they don't believe that, it doesn't actually matter how cool the things you are that you invent. It doesn't actually matter how hard you work in whatever community you're in. If the whole country doesn't come up with you, we're all going down. It's kind of a grim picture, but it's really important. That's going to be the difference between the bad trajectory and the good trajectory, is empathy. So drink a lot of water. Embrace beauty, but feel empathy. Because when you feel empathy, just like when experiencing beauty makes you conserve and protect it, when you feel for somebody that's different than you, and you see what they need to overcome, it makes you act. And that's really the last thing I want to leave you with. You're brilliant. You are beautiful. We need you to act. You will be successful. Don't just act. Be bold. Think about others. Drink your water. Embrace beauty and be bold. Thank you, class of 2011.
Folks, that was a truly inspirational talk, I have to say, and I hope that all of you graduating students take Cecilia's comments to heart in developing your own careers. And have you ever thought about running for president? Seriously, we need some good candidates. Although I feel a little offended at being referred to as a slacker. Although I think she was referring to a younger generation than me, I hope. So the next item on our agenda is the Environmental Science Student Address. Hayley Elizabeth Mahler is one of this year's outstanding graduates in the Environmental Science program. She was selected to speak on behalf of the class of 2011 based on her academic accomplishments and a written submission to the department. Hayley is also a co-winner of this year's Academic Achievement Award, which will be presented later, and is graduating summa cum laude. An environmental science major, Hayley has also earned a minor in Environmental Systems and Society and a second minor in French. Please welcome Hayley to the podium.
Thank you. I'm embracing the beauty that is what's going on over here. So good morning, everyone, and welcome, especially to the Environmental Science class of 2011. Woo! My name is Hayley Mahler. As one of the Environmental Science class of 2011, I want everyone to sort of look around the room right now. And for my fellow graduates, all of these people here play a huge role in why we are here today. They're the staff. I'm going to holler for the staff. Yeah. They're the staff who has helped us make sense of our DPRs and figure out our graduation requirements. Yeah. They're the faculty. You can. Who has guided us through complex scientific material with unending patience. They're our friends, who has supported us along the way, staying up with us all night at Powell Library, bringing us brew cap smoothies in early, sort of difficult mornings. They are our families, lastly. Who with enduring patience and love have been there for us, receiving our frantic and sometimes infrequent phone calls, sending us care packages, and paying our tuition, which is kind of an important reason. So thank you and welcome to everyone. It's funny how quickly one can transition from sort of active participation into incurable nostalgia. I turned in my last final on Thursday, and already I'm sort of reminiscing about my time here at UCLA. That being said, I figure I might as well start off sentimental just to sort of get it out of the way. I know a good number of fellow graduating seniors in different majors who skipped out on their departmental graduations this weekend. Mostly saying that they didn't know anyone in their major, or that there were going to be too many people there, or just that getting their major was less important to them than having a degree from UCLA. For us, I know that's not the case. Not only because empirically we have the best major at UCLA. I'm a scientist, you can trust me on this one. But also because we're all friends. And there are many of you I wish I had discovered sooner in my time here at UCLA. But I think it's fair to say that each of us can sort of look around between our caps and our gowns and pick out people that we're glad to have met and we're happy to have had in our lives and who we'll be in touch with for a long time to come. I know that's the case for me. And not only do I have this group of intelligent, competent, successful friends sitting here in front of me, but I want to remind you guys of something we all need to remember. And that is that we are well equipped. And if you think about it, we're well versed in the humanities and the social sciences, but our reasoning is grounded in scientific methods. We're one of the fastest growing majors at UCLA for a reason. People don't just like us, they actually want to be us. Some of us have studied abroad in places like Spain, New Zealand, India. We spent an entire quarter under Dr. Longcore's expert tutelage, learning how to avoid plagiarism, how to not let your audience fall asleep, and maybe most importantly, whether or not it's appropriate to wear a sweater vest, depending on what kind of presentation you're giving. In addition to our majors and our minors, we boast an incredible combined resume of other minors, leadership positions in student groups, job experiences, sports participation, and volunteer work. At least a few of us have shown up to hone our networking skills at those IOE IOES socials. Along the way, we've developed essential skills, like trying to figure out how to get through a stakeholder meeting when we're not exactly completely prepared for it. And also, we know that we throw really good parties. In all seriousness, however, I've always thought that the best way to build a flying car is not to have an engineer and a mechanic in the same room, but rather to have them in the same brain. This is how I see the environmental science major. When people say interdisciplinary, what they mean is that we, as imminent graduates, have been given the tools for both scientific and humanities approaches. We can not only understand environmental mechanisms like climate change in an intimate way, but we can also discuss them and extrapolate their implications for the social sciences. UCLA, and this major specifically, has equipped us with the full set of tools that we will need to confront all of the problems that we will encounter. I'll say it again before I'm done. We are well equipped. But what comes next? We may have been too busy scrambling to turn in finals, fill out candidacy forms, pick up commencement tickets, to actually stop, take a deep breath, and contemplate those next steps. Not in the frantic, please don't ask me what my plans are kind of way we've been avoiding for the last 3 to 6 months, but in the calm, if I think about this honestly, I could end up getting really excited about this kind of way. So I want us to stop and think about it and actually contemplate those next steps. We all know that the job market is, in a word, rough. We've known it since we started college. As the UCLA Environmental Science class of 2011, however, it's a bit different. For some of us, the decision to follow this major is predicated upon the knowledge that we're entering a field of literally limitless opportunities. The major has prepared some of us for research jobs, some for government jobs, some for work in nonprofits, private consulting, policy making. We know that green is trendy. We know people want us. We're smart, we take initiative, we're about to have UCLA degrees. Let's face it, we're kind of a desirable bunch. Our parents know that. In a few years, we're going to be dispersed throughout green technology, green marketing, green business. We will be the ones introducing sustainability to all different types of industries. For us, now equipped with a scientific background in an ever-expanding field, the question is not, what can I possibly do next, but rather, what will I choose to do next? It's up to us. But how do we choose? Faced with these seemingly limitless possibilities, which direction do we go? What we have to realize is that, quite frankly, it doesn't really matter. We don't have to pick careers today, although some of us have. We don't need to know what we're going to be doing in 6 years, or even 9 months from now. I know that we're going to be an impressive bunch. We already are. But in order to achieve what we, as a group, are capable of, we do need to take those first steps. And the really beautiful part of it is that for each of us, these first steps will be different. We're embarking on a road that is pretty much guaranteed to have an impact. Sorry, Professor Loncourt. Not supposed to say impact like that. Anyway. have consequences that are good. Because our major is predicated upon the grave need for humanity to change our actions, to mitigate our impact on all aspects of the environment. The world needs us. We know how pressing the need is to take action. Climate change, ocean acidification, habitat destruction, toxification of water and air systems, crumbling political will to change. All of these issues face us starkly. But what have I been saying? We're well equipped, and it's up to us. So let's not be afraid to take those first steps, in whatever direction we can. Let's not be afraid to take risks and to make mistakes, to work for companies and industries that maybe we haven't even heard of yet. But let's go for it. I feel confident when I say that in a few years, looking back, no matter how huge the world of environmental science careers may seem to us today, by then it will be narrowed, honed, chiseled, and refined for each of us in our own way and through our own experiences. We will be spread throughout private and public sectors, championing the causes about which we are most impassioned and for which we are best equipped. The cumulative impact of each of us working together towards whatever environmental goals we deem most essential will be huge. And I, for one, can't wait. Thank you.
Boy, another inspirational and brilliant presentation. Thank you, Hayley. I wish I could put together talks like that. I just need a little practice, I guess. Well, the next event is a pleasurable one. We're going to be handing out some awards, a series of awards. First, I'd like to introduce Carl Maida and Cully Nordby, who are going to make the next set of presentations. These are for our student leaders in the Education for Sustainable Living program. Carl is an adjunct faculty member of the Institute of the Environment and Sustainability, and Cully Nordby is the Institute's academic director, and I'm sure all of the students are very familiar with Cully as well. So, Cully and Carl.
Thanks. So welcome all of you here. This is amazing. It's so exciting to be up here. And what Carl and I are here to do is to present some certificates of appreciation to the student leaders for the Education for Sustainable Living Program's Action Research Teams, the otherwise known as ESLP. But the ESLP program was launched by students. It's an amazing program. It's student-initiated, student-run, and what we do is put these students in small teams that work together, and myself and lots of other staff and administrators on campus connect these students with campus operations to research different ways to make UCLA more sustainable. And we had 10 teams this year, and we're here to honor the co-directors who ran all of these teams. And just to run through the list of the kinds of things that these teams research, we had a team that studied sustainable food systems in the dorms, looking at making the hospital more sustainable, mapping trees on campus, improving the recycling system, looking at behavioral use, reducing energy through behavior in the residence halls, making the John Wooden Recreation Center more sustainable, comparing on-campus to off-campus student ecological footprints to show that increasing the housing for students on campus is a good thing to do, greening the Greek system, increasing offering of fair trade coffee at the campus eateries, and finally a group that was actually reaching out to all the other student groups to let them know how they can run their operations in a more sustainable way. And so you can just see how cross-cutting this is across campus. It's really an amazing program, and it's been a privilege to work with these students.
I second that, and I want to let you know that Action Research Teams in their 4th year really brought together a group of students who are interested in linking thought and action, linking thinking and doing through projects, and not just projects that require them to do work among themselves, but to reach across to the variety of people in the university, faculty, fellow students, as Cully said, the staff, the administrators, people who do this as a lifetime career. And this really is the future. We've heard quite a bit about the future. Project-based learning is the wave of the future. You can take a look at it from some of the best high schools in the country to some of the best universities. And I think the thing, again, that keeps coming up and playing in my mind is the idea that leadership in the field that you're going into is going to require, as we heard Cecilia and everyone else speak about, this type of team building and this type of interpersonal and the humanistic that goes along with the technical. So on that note, we've had 3 fantastic leaders involved in this. And again, this is the Education for Sustainable Living program along with the Institute of the Environment and Sustainability. And again, that too is a wonderful collaboration. So without further ado, we have certificates for first, Varun Mehra. Come on up. Fantastic leadership, and I guess I want you to know that with our leaders, we're talking about people who are able to cross disciplines, not just environmental science, environmental studies, not just geography, people in world arts and cultures, people in statistics. This is a fantastic way for the Institute of Environmental and Sustainability to show its face across the campus. So Varun, it's been a wonderful year. Thank you. I appreciate that. And now to Janu Gordon, Gabriella Janu Gordon. We know her as Janu. And Janu, along with Varun, this has been a second year of working together with you behind that computer each time, taking notes, bringing together. These people are the leaders of leaders. These are the people who basically bring together a good 20 leaders who have 35 other students behind them working on these 10 teams. And there's Janu and Varun, and you can count on them week in and week out. Wonderful. And this year, we have been growing the way the IOES has been growing, the way the major has been growing, and we decided this year that we would also have a communications person, somebody who also reaches out not just to the university communications, but also to the press and reaches out. We had a couple weeks ago 35 students from LA Unified School District who are taking concurrent enrollment classes in college in environmental science. They came to the culminating event of the Action Research Team program, and Uma was right there. This is Uma Bandaram, and she has been the first person to take on the role, and it's a heavy role, of being the face of this whole project in terms of the outside world, in terms of communication. Uma, thank you so much. And again, this is also the synergistic relationship between people who are not majors in this program and a major in the program. So this is, again, the best face of the Institute of the Environment and Sustainability. Thank you very much.
Okay. Now, the next thing on the program is to present the awards for the Academic Achievement Awards and the Outstanding Service Award. And to do that, we have Travis Longcore, who's an adjunct professor, and who was he's the coordinator of our senior practicum, so all of you know him very, very well. So please welcome Travis.
Okay. That's maybe not going to work. Okay. Thank you. This year I have two awards to present, and one of them is being jointly awarded. First is the Academic Achievement Award, and then the Outstanding Service Award. I'll read a little bit about each student and then have them come up and receive a certificate. Yes, good. Yes, it does say that. Good. This year, two students stood out amongst their peers for their consistent high achievement from freshman to senior year. Both are set to graduate summa cum laude this year, and unsurprisingly, both have been very active in their courses and with the IOES in addition to extracurricular activities. First is Daniel Hogan. He's a... Yeah, come stand right here. He's an Environmental Systems and Society minor, set to graduate this summer with the highest, just enjoy this, highest overall GPA among the 2011 graduating class of environmental science majors. An avid surfer, his immediate plans are to spend 6 weeks surfing, writing, and improving his Spanish in San Sebastian, Spain. This fall, he'll enroll in a screenwriting program through UCLA's School of Theater, Film, and Television while pursuing producer assistant positions in the industry. His long-term goals are to enter an MFA program at UCLA, USC, Columbia, NYU, to pursue writing and production for film and television. He says his career path is, and I'm quoting, not to abandon my environmental science background, but rather to augment it with a medium that reaches and influences audiences on a national and global scale. So let me congratulate you. Hayley Mahler is also an Environmental Systems Society minor with a French minor. Come on up. You've seen her already. She will graduate this spring with an equally impressive academic resume. Her commitment to education extends to others as well. This spring, she taught a student-led course titled Hippies and Tree Huggers, U.S. Environmental Movement of the 1960s and 1970s. I wish I could have taken it. This summer, she and her older brother will be backpacking through Patagonia, making stops in Ecuador, Paraguay, and Chile, while volunteering for programs like WOOF, which stands for Worldwide Opportunities on Organic Farms. When she returns to the USA, she plans to work for 2 to 4 years in an environmental policy job, return to college for graduate school in that field, with the ultimate hope of continuing her work in water policy in France. So let me congratulate Hayley. Our Outstanding Service Award goes to Ross Burnett. And Ross came to an environmental science major after spending his first few years at UCLA pursuing psychology. While studying abroad in Barcelona, he was struck while reading Guns, Germs, Steel by his hero Jared Diamond, and upon returning to Los Angeles, threw himself into every program and activity related to the environment and sustainability that he could find. He joined E3, which is a student environmental group, became its treasurer. He volunteered at the UCLA Botanical Gardens. He joined USAC as a member in the office of the President's Environmental Committee, later became the student representative for the Green Initiative Fund and UCLA's Campus Sustainability Committee, where he's been the student representative and member of the Landscaping Subcommittee. Last year, he co-led an action research team that replanted a UCLA campus interest with native drought-tolerant plants, and in that process, I believe, learned some effective negotiation with stakeholder skills. And you can see those, and you will see those for years to come, and we will think of Ross every time we do. He, this past summer, volunteered in Haiti for a tree planting project where he also gathered data that he turned into his senior honors thesis, and he will, in fact, be our first departmental honors graduate ever. This summer, Ross will land in Finland to begin biking to Spain with stops to volunteer at some worldwide opportunities in organic farming farms. He's been accepted into the Peace Corps in Central and South America starting in February, but is weighing a return. It's updated. He's decided he's going back to Haiti to continue tree planting work that he began last summer, and eventually intends to enter graduate school for an advanced degree in biology, botany, ecology, agriculture, or sustainable forestry, and I can assure you he will excel at any one of those. Let me congratulate Ross. Thank you. Thank you.
To receive your diploma. Go.
So yeah, procedure line. They're going to come around behind. Yeah, they're going to come around behind. This way. Let's see you come around this way. All right. Anita Shankar Raman. Okay. Kaylee Levy Tran. Andrew Joseph Guerra. Cassandra Davina Vasquez. Naomi Elliott. Jeffrey Hall Wright. Hayley Elizabeth Mahler. Daniel Hogan. Elise Rose Schulman. Ross Zimmer Burnett. Uma Niharika Bundaram. Alyssa Swager. Allison Sarah Dashnek. Brooke Noel Scruggs. Diane Mary Schreck. Robert Gregory Frieden. Samuel Lawrence Schoenberg. Shannon Kathleen Walker. Sue Yun Park. Samantha Tang. Tristan James Ako. Taylor Christine Cochran. Brooke Nicole Robertson. Heather Nicole Slattery. Jason Michael Post. James Ian Bunce. Kelsey Marie Hammond. Lindsay Nicole Reeves. Edwin Mackenzie Masson Champlin. Adam Fitch Benson. Peter Sheng Duan. Niso Hasson. Morgan Lee Fallman. Carly Beth Wagner. Kevin Kawakami. Jennifer Liu. Souza K. Daniel Mahoney Suits. Alessandro Nunzio Manganuco. Carly Jane Lyons. Christina H. Cheng. Alexander Ben Ryan Kurtman. Mia Elizabeth Varner. David Reed Molman. Shannon Elizabeth Skelton. Honorit Kaur Gill. Amanda Sue Grossi. Charlotte Kwang Ying Stanley. Margarita Armendariz. Allison Grace Davidson. Erin Whitby. J.W. Sue. Thomas Britt. Mitchell Adam Howard. Shannon Ann Vaughn. Esther Ahn. Celine Chue. Yoshiki Kobayashi. David Harry Wolk. Joyce Chang. Sandy Wittenberg. And let me be the first to congratulate you all as the graduating class of 2011. You're wonderful. Thank you.
It's great to have control like this, you know. This has been a proud day for the Institute of the Environment and Sustainability, and a day of well-deserved recognition for the Institute's second excellent graduating class. Let's have a round of applause for all these youngsters. Save the world for us old folks. We certainly hope and wish that each of you will maintain close ties with the Institute and UCLA as you build up your professional life over the years. I want to thank everyone who participated in this event. I especially want to acknowledge the dedicated work of the Institute's staff, most notably Cully Nordby and Royce Diekman. Their efforts have really made today's ceremony a success. I also want to invite you now to join us on the patio for a unique zero-waste reception. At the IOE, we not only talk the talk, we walk the walk. Okay. Finally, I want to request the audience to remain at your seat until the end of the recessional march. And then you're free to go. But you can also applaud at any time. Thank you for coming today. This has been an absolutely wonderful event.